Hey, yo, what's poppin'? Good morning. Good morning from lovely Mono County, Eastern California. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my most favorite places in California to come visit. Just because of the sheer vastness of the absence of human activity somewhat, and the sheer abundance of obvious nature that can be found out here. Over there in the background we have Mono Lake, the infamous Mono Lake. There's a whole story about that. Maybe I might talk about it later. It kind of sounds like a good idea, but anyway, yeah, so where I'm at right now, this type of habitat, this type of ecosystem has a name, and the name of this ecosystem is called Great Basin sagebrush scrub. And the reason it's called Great Basin sagebrush scrub is because of this particular plant right here. This is Artemisia tridentata, aka the Great Basin sagebrush, family Asteraceae, which is the daisy or sunflower family. And I know you're looking at this like, hey, this doesn't look like a daisy or a sunflower. Or that's because you probably have soft eyes. No, I'm just kidding. It's not because of that. It's just because, you really can't see close enough. Asters have these structures called phyllaries, and these just so happen to have very small flowers. They're not really flowering yet, but these are the flower buds, and they have these kind of like pre-petal structures called phyllaries, which are present on all asters. But yeah, Asteraceae, sunflower family, Great Basin sagebrush. This plant is I think one of the most widely distributed plants in North America. It can be found all the way from here. Actually, it could be found on the coast of California, all the way damn near to like Wyoming, Montana, and everything. It fills in this area known as the Great Basin in North America, which sheds water from like all these mountain ranges, Rocky Mountains, Sierra Nevadas, the eastern side of Sierra Nevadas, down basically towards the Colorado River, down into this giant bowl that's in the western half of North America. This plant is awesome though, I'm not gonna lie, it smells amazing. Yeah, if you're ever hiking out here and getting all sweaty and everything like that, break off a couple of these and rub it under your pits, and then you might be smelling good for at least an hour. And it's called tridentata because at the tips of the leaves, they usually have like these 3 teeth right there. Yeah, Artemisia tridentata, Great Basin sagebrush. The dominant plant in this giant ecosystem called the Great Basin sagebrush scrub. And the second most dominant plant that can be found out here is this one. This here is Purshia tridentata in the Rosaceae family, the family of roses. And tridentata, again, because of those 3 teeth that are at the distal end of those leaves. And I think it's funny that you have this Purshia tridentata, and then that one right there, Artemisia tridentata, both tridentata. I wonder if having these 3-toothed leaves does something. I mean, I know that Artemisia tridentata, that their pollen and seeds and everything are wind dispersed, and it does get pretty windy out here. So, but I'm actually not too sure about this one. I know roses usually have like kind of berry-like fruits and everything like that, so they're probably being eaten by birds or something like that and being dispersed that way. I don't know. I'm not sure. All these questions I need answers to. It's also kind of sticky, and it has a very nice, pleasant aroma, I must say. Common name is Bitterbush, and the last plant that or co-dominant plant that is in high abundance in this type of habitat is this right here. Okay, we got it focused. Okay, so this can either be Ericameria nauseosa or Chrysothamnus viscidiflorus. And to be honest, I don't know how to tell the difference. Let me get a different angle. Yeah, it could either be Ericameria or Chrysothamnus. It does smell a little bit piney, and I know some Ericameria do have that piney scent, so I'm thinking that this is Ericameria nauseosa. This species is pretty common in California and in the Great Basin. Like you can find it in the Mojave Desert and everything, and you can even find it in coastal sagebrush like areas. It does really well. Again, Asteraceae, the sunflower family, and let me see if I zoom in real quick. You can see like these structures right there. You see that flower that's not quite fully developed, these like little scale-like structures right there. Yeah, those are the phyllaries. Those, oh, look, we got a little bug on there. What is it? Okay, that bug, I'm not going to be able to tell you the species on that. Maybe I might be able to figure it out, but that is definitely in the family Aphididae, which is, the family of aphids. And how I know that is because you see those 2 things sticking out of its abdomen, kind of dorsolaterally there. They're called cornicles. You know, it's in the order Hemiptera, or the order of true bugs. So it has these specific mouth parts that kind of reminiscent of a hand holding a pen. Technical term is called stylate haustellate mouth parts. Anyway, they inject their mouth into the plant, which I think is what it's doing right now. And it basically sucks out the fluids and sugars that this plant produces. And then the excess sugars, it can secrete them, in which usually ants come to take a drink of. And ants will end up protecting these from any would-be predators. Yeah, that's a thing you should look up, the relationships between ants and aphids. Yeah, aphidity. Easy family to remember. Speaking of which, there's an ant right there. Again, I don't know this species of ant, but more than likely it climbing on this Ericameria, it's in search of those aphids, trying to get some that sweet, sweet honeydew. Family Formicidae. I assume this is some type of carpenter ant. I don't know. I'm just making that. I'm just guessing. But yeah, and this species also seems to be the only thing flowering out here right now. I'm not really seeing anything else flower, but you know, that's just a seasonal thing. Like everywhere you go, any natural area you go, there's seasonal blooms. You know, this is a perennial species, but it blooms annually, and I guess Ericameria likes to bloom during like mid to late summer. All right, one more plant. We got this right here. This is in the family Grossulariaceae, which is the family of gooseberries and currants. And I know this is in the genus Ribes, but I'm not as sure exactly what species it is. I think it's either Ribes inerme or Montijanus. I can't remember. But it's definitely Ribes. Yeah, there's like a cloud of flying insects right there. I kind of want to know what they are. Aha! They're ants. I think they're ants. Yeah, they're ants. Pretty sure they're ants. So I think these are the drone ants. They're probably dispersing from some colony out to mate with females, to make new queens, to establish newer colonies. I think they're the ants. Do they have that little node? Yeah, again, I'm not going to be able to tell you the species, but definitely Formicidae. The family of ants, Hymenoptera, ants, bees, and wasps. No wonder I can't tell the difference, because in the same order. But yeah, that's that cloud that's going on right now. Maybe it's just that perfect time of the year, perfect time of the day to disperse. Yeah, dead ass, man. This place is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But yeah, this whole area is like intensely geologically active. Oh, what's that? Oh, is that Buteo jamaicensis? Oh no, it's not. It's a harrier. It's a harrier. I mean, at first glance, and to those who don't know any better, it might look like it's pretty barren, as if, you know, there's nothing here. But, you know, you got to look closer. There's tons of stuff here. A lot of wildlife use the area. You know, like the plants and the vegetation provide food sources and shelter for other organisms, and then the presence of those organisms provide food for others, and so on and so on. But yeah, this place is really geologically active, you know, volcanically active. Like there in the distance, Mono Lake, those islands over there, those were caused basically by, you know, volcanic activity with magma plumes pushing up the land and forming those islands. I think one of the youngest volcanoes in California is over here too. Like I don't know if you can see those little like kind of like cinder cones in the distance. Yeah, those are volcanoes right there. But yeah, and then these right here, these rock formations, I think they're granite. I don't know. They might also be ash, but I don't know, to me from here they look like granite. But this is also a representation of the igneous geologic activity that occurs in this area. Greater sage grouse. I think that's a female greater sage grouse. Dope. Okay, seems we have another species of Ribes here, adding to the increasing list of examples that exemplify evolutionary radiation. So here, I think this is ribes ceruem. I forget to call it wax currant, I think, or white wax currant. But yeah, look at all these berries going off. And these berries are edible to an extent. Like you can eat a few of them, but I don't know. Supposedly Wikipedia says like you shouldn't eat a lot of these. Like you can like burn your throat or something like that. A little bitter. Not that great of a berry, to be honest. But yeah, ribes ceruem. Okay, right there. Okay, right there we got Oreoscoptes monteris, aka the sage thrasher. And there's our example of a species that is taking advantage of the fruiting of these ribes, eating the fruits. And there's a bunch of them out here. This is probably like the most common bird out here right now. So at this moment out here, this is the most abundant bird, and it makes sense why that is. Because it's taking advantage of the fruiting of this ribes. There you go right there. Oh, I saw another bird. Where is it? Oh, right there. Oh, what is that? Some sort of sparrow. It's also doing the same thing, eating the berries off this ribes. And it's hard to tell right now because I'm not using my binoculars, but I think that was a brewer's sparrow. Oh, is that it again? Yeah, I think that's a brewer's sparrow. And yeah, they're just coming through here doing the same exact thing that those sage thrashers are doing. So as far as the relationship goes with these birds and this ribes here, it's essentially kind of a sweet deal for both species. You know, the thrasher basically, you know, obviously gets a meal from eating these berries, but at the same time, the plant gets a bad benefit by having it disperse its seeds once those seeds pass through the digestive tract of this bird, which might explain the random distribution of the ribes out here. It's a young one. I can't tell from here, but it still kind of looks like it has like lips on its beak. I wonder if this is a family group. Yeah, now they all come into the bush. This is a good bush. I mean, you can see all the fruits from here. Yeah, sage thrasher, Oreoscoptes. And this can be found all across the Great Basin, like from here, California, all the way into Nevada, and I'm sure into Utah, parts of Oregon. Yeah, Oreoscoptes. All right, just chilling here by this pile of rocks, and I caught this lizard right here. So what I have is Scoloporus occidentalis. And I think the subspecies is Longipes. So this is the Great Basin subspecies of the western fence lizard, which is the common name of this. So this would be the Great Basin western fence lizard. Family Phrynosomatidea, which is the same family as horned lizards. This species, sans the subspecies, is probably one of the most widely distributed lizard species of the western half of the United States, especially in the Southwest. These can be found everywhere, even in the cities. Like you can find these dead in the middle of the cities. As long as there's enough refuge habitat and obviously food, these guys would be just fine. But this is the Great Basin subspecies, which also extends down into Southern California. But look at those patterns right there, and there's high variation of patterns even within individual subspecies of these types of lizards and everything. So this is what the underside looks like, and I'm pretty sure this is a female because right there at the vent, the cloaca, usually males have two enlarged, noticeably enlarged scales. Oh, by the way, if you see these pores right here, right underneath the hind femora, I think that's why they get the name, the genus Scoloporus, because Scoloporus, I think it translates from Latin into pored scales. But yeah, this is a female, and you can see it's got that kind of like light blue coloration. Males will be much darker or much more noticeably blue. And again, Phrynosomatidea, which is the family of spiny lizards because of those scales right there, looking nice and spiny with that spiny keel. Oh, and they're viviparous too, meaning they don't lay eggs. They'll actually, like, you know, the babies will come right out of the mother. City people like to call these bluebellies, obviously because of that blue sheen right there. And the males will get much more noticeably, much more darker blue. And I think those colors are actually used as signal colors. Like males will nod their, bob their head up and down, do push-ups and everything like that to establish their territory, the dominance in their territory and everything. Such a pretty lizard. Anyway, let's let her go. Oh, we got something right here. This is pretty interesting. Okay, so what we got right here is the exuvium of a species of cicada, or insect, that's in the order Hemiptera, family Cicadidae, and I think this one right here is in the genus Okanagana. Yeah, I think it's Okanagana. I'm not too much of a cicada expert or anything like that, but blew out of my hand because it's like super light. I'm crushing it. Damn, I'm really manhandling this specimen right here. I just broke off a bunch of its legs. But hey, at least it's not alive or anything. But yeah, you can see right there, that giant split on the dorsal surface. That's what you call an ecdisal suture. So ecdysis is the scientific term for the process of molting your outer exoskeleton. And what you're seeing right here is the exoskeleton of a larval individual. So larval cicadas will spend most of their lives, by far most of their lives, the greatest proportion of their lives underground, feeding on various tubers and other vegetative matter, most likely parts of vegetation that are heavily starch and sugar filled, because that's where it would get its energy. And it's a hemiptera, so it has those styloid, haustellate mouth parts, which you can kind of see. You can't really, they might have broken off because it's so dried and desiccated and everything. But then, yeah, you see those somewhat raptorial front appendages. That is also a diagnostic for larval cicadids. Yeah, if you're familiar with cicadas, you know that the adult forms, they kind of look like a giant fly, and they make a very supposedly annoying sound. I don't really think it's annoying. I think it's kind of cool. But the ones out, but that'll never get that way out here. You won't see those like waving, blaring choruses of cicadas out here in this region. You might hear about 4 or 5, 6 or 7 buzzing within your immediate vicinity, but they don't get as loud as the ones up in the north or Midwest. It's cool. You can see like the chambers where the appendages used to be, and I think you can also see the remnants of the tracheal system that insects use to breathe. But yeah, cicada larvae or cicada nymph exuvium. All right, let's see. Oh, we got this one. Hey. Oh, there she is. Okay, so right here, I believe we have Trimeratropus verruculata, family Acrididae. I've talked about many acridids in my videos. Acrididae is the family of shorthorn grasshoppers, quote unquote, shorthorn grasshoppers. You see, as it's trying to get away from this container, you see that crazy flash of yellow on the underwing. There's another species in the same genus that I'm aware of, Trimeratropus pallidipennis, which is the pallid wing grasshopper. Can be found in desert areas as well as chaparral and coastal sagebrush closer to the coast. So this one right here, verruculata, is a Great Basin sagebrush species. Well, they probably have similar lifestyles and similar behaviors between all the species within that genus. This one seems to be about the same size, maybe a little smaller. Pallidipennis seems to be more bulkier, more girthier in body shape. This one seems to be a little leaner and a little more highly active. And I think this is a female because I think I can see a little bit of an ovipositor there. But yeah, Trimeratropus verruculata out here in the Great Basin sagebrush scrub. All right, I'm looking at this particular Ericameria right here, and it seems to be a party plant, meaning there's a bunch of things taking advantage of its nectar resources that it's given. And that makes sense because this species seems to be the only thing blooming out here right now. So let's see what's exploiting it. Okay, naturally, it's not uncommon to find some hymenopterids. This one, I have no idea what it is. I'm not even entirely sure what the family is, but it is definitely some type of wasp. I wonder if it's in the family Scoliidae. Kind of has a weird abdomen. Then we got this right here, another hymenopteran. I wonder if this is some sort of megachilid. I don't know, it doesn't quite look like a megachilid. Maybe it is. And then right there, we have a lepidopteran, a butterfly in the family Lycaenidae. This is Ceterium sepium. There, you can see it using its proboscis to get to that nectar that this Ericameria is providing. Oh, it's two. You know, it was bright and sunny about an hour ago, and then all of a sudden these clouds roll in. That's the crazy thing about this area. Like, weather can just switch up in a snap. Ooh, okay. Okay, so I think what we got right here, this is Hemiluca nuttali, otherwise known as Nuttall sheep moth, in the family Saturniidae. And I think the genus Hemiluca is a common moth species, a common Saturniid that's commonly found in sagebrush ecosystems. The host plant is the Purshia, which is the bitterbush. You know, the female will lay her eggs on that bush, and those eggs will hatch, and caterpillars will start growing up, eating the bush, essentially, eating the Purshia, and getting all that energy and fat storage and all that stuff, pupating, and then emerging as adults in this time of year, mid to late summer. But yeah, see this male, see those antennae right there? See how they're nice and feathery? The reason they're kind of big and feathery like that is for picking up chemical pheromones from the females. Usually when it comes to many flying insects, particularly Lepidoptera, when they become adults, their main purpose is basically to reproduce. So they have the structures that make it easier to find a mate, essentially. So these males will sense the pheromones of receptive females in the area and then head straight towards that. Very stunning coloration on this species. Most Saturniids have stunning coloration, actually. It's got that bright orange underwing and kind of like a faded cream colored forewing. Those big feathery antennae that are used to sense pheromones coming from receptive females so they can hook up and mate. Yeah, Hemiluca nuttali. Nice. Oh, look at that. There she goes. Here we got a female depositing. Oh, there's a male flying around me right now. See? Depositing her eggs on this Purshia, and this male is about to land on me. Is he trying to push me away? Because he's like really up in my face right now. And there she goes, using her ovipositor right there to deposit those eggs on this Purshia. And Purshia is one of the host plants for this species. Yeah, this male doesn't like me being here. He's trying to mate with her. Oh, he is mating with her. Look at that. So there you go. That was a perfect example of I guess how efficient those antennae are at picking up pheromones from the female. I wonder if the pheromones coming from the female are telling this male like, oh, she's ready to go. But then she had already started laying her eggs, and it looks like this guy is interrupting that process. Yeah, those little white pebble things, those are the eggs that the female had just deposited. Yeah, I wonder if since she's laying eggs, if those eggs have already previously been fertilized, or if she's got some unfertilized eggs in there. I wonder what effects that this interruption in egg laying has, or if it's a benefit. You know, I don't know if she mated with this male before, if she mated with another male. I mean, many animals, many insects, especially females, will mate with more than one male and obtain sperm from those different males, and hence increasing the genetic variation of the offspring. This is also a perfect moment to compare side by side the morphological differences between males and females of this species, and not just this species, of most moths and butterflies too. You got the male on the right with those nice big feathery antennae, and then the female on the left with not as feathery antennae. So all her movement, I wonder what that's all about. Is she trying to get away, or is she like more? Again, also notice the body size differences. Like you see the female on the left, look how like large and girthy her abdomen is. You know, in the arthropod group, usually the females are bigger because, you know, they're the big egg layers. They need the extra space, if you will, to hold all those eggs. Oh, there we go. You got those nice spread wings so you can get at least a decent shot what it looks like. Get those nice, oh, she fell. Oh, they separated. I think he's done. He's going to sleep. There, now we got a little bit better of a look of what she looks like with her wings halfway spread open. Oh, there we go. Bright and colorful, probably aposematic too. Yeah, these bright colors, I'm guessing are aposematic or warning colors. And you know, those spots on the forewings, those probably look like eyes to any would-be predator, for example, like a bird or something like that that might want to eat these. Or a snake or something like that, scare it away. That's my hypothesis, at least. And it's possible that they might taste nasty too. So. All right, even though it's kind of nice up here, the wind is picking up and I kind of want to go somewhere else. So why don't you say we go and check that out there? Yeah, let's do it.